What's up, guys? So this video is going to consist of greed, fear, and risk management. They are both very also well-known topics. You look into struggle value things, but I personally think these three are the simplest to get through, just simply because it's straight to the point. It's either this, this, and this. There's no really, again, there's nothing really to go around about it. There's no secret password. It's just, this is what it is. You are feeling greedy, you are feeling fear, and you are not using risk management because you don't have this, this, and this. So let's get into it. So greed is something that traders tend to struggle with because they always want every single trade to be like, oh, that big trade that's going to change their life. They want to have that 5-figure day, whatever the case is. And like, oh, that's the trade that's going to pay off my car, pay off my mortgage, or whatever the case is. And then, yes, that is something that could happen, but it's something that happens with bigger size accounts. You can't expect to flip a $500 account to 10,000. Those are ridiculous percentage returns. Again, if you're basing that off of percentages, you're talking over thousands of percentages. You know, that's something unrealistic, and you're putting your whole trading account at risk. So that's not the ideal thing. That is not an investment strategy. So then what traders tend to do is they tend to get greedy, and then when trades get to the take profit, wherever it is that they were targeting, we're like, oh, that's not enough, I want more than whatever that is. So then what they tend to do is they tend to hold their positions to unrealistic take profits, and then basically there they either come back to taking out a break even, or then they close trades when they get a little bit to drawdown, and then it flies to the take profit, and now their emotions are all over the place. But again, your emotions are all over the place because of your actions. Your actions lead to your emotion. If your actions are in check, then there will be no emotion. All right, so this is a perfect example how a trade that we took would have played out perfectly, and then we would have closed at our take profit. But then seeing the end result, if we would have held, then we would have tend to got greedy or emotions, because if we would have held the trade, we would have made so much more dollars. Would have, could have, should have, all of these excuses. So as you can tell here, this is a very, very clean setup. This is actually how I love to trade. I love to have literally my charts exactly how you're seeing it. Less is more. Clearly it's a level of support, level of resistance. You look right, very clean level of resistance, support. Now be used as support. You could clearly tell that we are trending bullish. We're having high, low, higher high. Now we're having a higher low, previous resistance being used as support, rejection from our EMA, rejection from our fib, point A, point B. You have the trend, you have resistance being used as support, and then here you have this price action, morning star rejection off of resistance being used as support, off of EMA. There's so many things pushing this trade up. So there is a higher probability of this trade going up than down. So according to my strategy, yes, I don't have a trading course yet. I'm going to come out with them maybe in the future. But from what I do in the Learn and Earn, and then, I do on YouTube and all that stuff, I personally always target the next structure level. So my take profit one would either be here, which is the next structure level, or the next level where price can potentially stop, which is the next point over here. So you can very clearly tell that this is a level where price can potentially find some resistance and then tend to have a retracement from here, and then could come back down or create a higher low and then keep going. So let's play price action and let's see what happens. So beautiful entry, price is kind of slowing down a little bit. Clearly we've had a reaction off of this level. Now we've had the push away. So now we are approaching our first take profit, right? So we have now broken this. So now we know that we are creating higher low. Now we have a higher high. So now what can we anticipate? We can anticipate a higher low to previous resistance being used as support to then continue to take us out at our take profit at our -27 for a 1 to 5, which, let's be realistic, guys, I will take it 1 to 5 all day. That is to me a perfect trade. I risk 1%, 5% is beautiful to me. I personally target 2.5% a week. So let's say this trade took about 5, 6, 7 days. Let's check really fast. This trade took about, let's just say 4 days. I would take 5% in 4 days all day. I'm a very happy trader. Okay, look, perfect. So now it has hit our take profit, right? We have been taken out at 5%. So now we are no longer in this trade. Our rules have been met, and now we move on to the next trade. But now you see here that we had a pullback. We retested this next previous structure level right here being used as support. And then you can see how price continued to move to the upside. And then we could have been like, oh my God, if I would have held, that would have made 16, 17%. With just, these are realistic trade setups. But for this particular trade, your rules and your take profit was this structure level. Don't be greedy and don't feel some type of way because you wanted to hold all of this. This is something that it had to move without any realistic pullbacks. And if I keep playing this, you can see how it just continued to go to the upside. There was no significant structure level to come back and fill all of this. So you don't need to feel now anxious. And then your next trade that you take, you're gonna simply just, oh, I'm gonna hold it till it hits 1,000 pips or whatever this hit. So it hits 500 pips. Does that make sense? You need to strictly stick to your rules. If your rules say you get out here, you get out here, and that's it. We follow the rules, we made money, and we move on. So now we have entered this mindset where like, oh, we left so much money on the table. The next trade I'm going to take, I'm going to hold all the way. I don't care. So now you enter this emotional mindset where the next trade you take, you're going to simply feel like I have to hold it all the way because I cannot miss on those profits anymore. And this is what tends to happen with these next type of trades. So this is your next trade after making 5% and now missing those extra 10, 15%. So now you want to get another huge swing trade just like that, which is very much realistic. But for that trade itself, we were targeting that amount. And that's why we took it out at that amount. So now we have come across the same exact trade, which is very, very similar to the trade. You can tell it is a very clean level of support, resistance, now being used as support. We have rejection of resistance, rejection of fib, and then you have the same exact price action above the EMA, and then you have all of this bullish trend, everything you would want to see in the trade, right? So now you would put your long position with your stop loss right under, let's say about a nice 35 pips, and then you would be targeting the next structure level right here, which is a level that it can potentially be a level of resistance, support, resistance, and it could be used as resistance along with the -27 of your fib. So we could see a reaction from here, the same exact thing how it did in the previous trade, have a reaction, have a pullback, and then keep going, or it could come here and then reject. So let's see how this trade played out. So we automatically had beautiful rejection off of this level, straight to our take profit. And boom, so our take profit has been hit perfectly, pit perfect. You see, it has smacked our -27, smacked the level of resistance, support, resistance. So they could possibly be a reaction from here. But you're like, no, that's not enough. 2.3% is not enough. I want to get 5% again. So you simply just hold the trade. But you are breaking now your rules. Your rules said to hold your trade to that point and get out. Why? Because it's your -27 or whatever reasoning it is, that is the reasoning why you're gonna get out. But now coming off of that trade that you missed so much of the profits, now you want to simply hold as much as you can. So let's see what happens. And then there you go. Now you have turned a winning trade that followed your rules, zero drawdown, had a great risk to reward. Now it has turned either to a loss or to break even, simply because you didn't want to follow your rules. So now you're gonna enter this downward spiral of emotions because you're like, wow, I was in the blue, I didn't close out, but you didn't stick to your rules, which is the #1 thing. You cannot bash yourself for closing a trade in profit. You made money. You need to stick to your plan and keep going. Why fix something that's not broken? If you're in the blue, stay in the blue, go break even and stick to your plan. It is that simple. If it says get out here, you get out here, and that's it. There's no other reasoning why to continue holding your trade. So now we're going to talk about fear. Fear is probably solely one of the hardest things people struggle, not only with trading, but with life itself. People are fearful of failing, fear of somebody's opinion, fear to hold, fear to invest, just fear to take risk in general. The only way to learn is by making mistakes. Yes, it is a very cliche saying, but it is the truth. The only way you can learn to not take a trade in the Sydney session is by taking a trade in the Sydney session and then realizing that there's no volume there. So now you have made the mistake, you have learned, and now you know to only trade during London or New York or whatever session is best to your trading. Now, how do you learn this? By making mistakes, by journaling your mistakes, and then analyzing what you're good at. If you're good at London, you trade London. If you're good at New York, you're good at New York. But you need to analyze, write these things down, and then know what you're good at. You're the only person that is going to know what it is that you're good at and what it is that you're bad at. Again, whatever it is that you're good at, you magnify it. Whatever it is that you're bad at, you push it away and learn from your mistakes. So I'm going to show a very simple example of how fear of holding trades to winners can bash your trading. Even if you win more than you lose, you can completely bash, because there's people out there that they will hold their trade and drawdown for a week until they get out a couple pips at break even, and then they close it out at break even. But then when the trade is in profit, they immediately close it. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, the reason you took the trade is to hit your take profit. And then when you're in drawdown, you hold it. How do you hold a trade in drawdown, but you don't hold a trade to keep making you money? It completely makes no sense to me. All right, guys, so this is a perfect example of how holding your losers and holding your winners can be crucial to your trading, and how win rate really isn't a big deal. It really is not. It's strictly risk to reward percentages that you get. So here you can tell how we have won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trades, and we have lost 3. So let's start off with the winners. Here, I guess the trader went into a little bit of drawdown, and then he went up a little bit. He closed out his trade. Here, he was impatient, close it out, close it out, close it out, and then he had a break even. So all of these trades, he was fearful to hold the trade to his take profit, but he saw some profits. Like, all right, cool, I'm done, I'm good with that. But when the trader is in drawdown, and this is assuming that the trader is risking 1% per trade, and he holds his losers all the way to -1 take profit. The trader could have not even held the winning trades all the way to +1 take profit. That's why this percentage win rate is not ideal. Here he has 7 winners, 3 losers, and he has 0 percentage gain, because this is -3% and then this is +3%. You can tell this is 1%, 2%, not even. This is about 2.6, 2.7%. So it just shows you how win rate isn't ideal, and how you cannot be fearful to holding your trade. If your trade's take profit is a 1 to 3, 1 to 2, you hold it to there, and that's it. There's no other answer. You hold it to your take profit. Once it gets to your take profit, you close, you move on to the next trade. It worked. You did something that worked. Now you move on and repeat. Now we're going to talk about the next video, which is going to be risk management. This is something very, very crucial to a lot of people, but it is very simple. I'll break that down to you guys now, so I'll see you in the next video.